It's Friday. This is about our third or fourth Zoom thing, and we're still figuring it out. But anyway, this is for our wine club release, and you can see all our folks here, our great team that we have. The first one is Jana, of course, sitting right here with me in our wine cellar. And then next on the list is Molly, and I don't see her picture. Is Molly there?
She went to get the microphone.
Oh, okay. So Chef Brian, you're next on the list.
There's Chef, you can wave.
Okay, Brian, you have to unmute your mic. Brian?
I'm gonna stay muted. I'm gonna stay muted most of the time.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, do you have anything to say, Brian?
Thank you to everybody for all your support. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here. So it's pretty simple. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's been a wild, crazy ride.
Yeah, it sure
Yes,
has.
it has.
And that, you know, this team has really been working well together and trying to figure out how to adapt to the new normal that we're all being pushed into. And I think there's going to be some good things that come out of it. But it has been scary and kind of confusing and so forth. So next, Molly, you want to introduce yourself, and Dom with you since you're both there. Oh, you got your hats on. I forgot my hat.
Party hat.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. If you haven't been watching these
We
lately,
can
Can hardly hear you.
is that better?
Yeah, you have to get right in front of it.
Okay. Yeah, the external mic isn't working great right now. We gotta fix it later. But if you haven't been on these Zoom calls recently, I'm Molly. I'm the assistant winemaker. I've been in a lot of these, so yeah, we're excited to kind of celebrate our wine club in a new, different way today.
Great, great. Dom?
I'm sure most people have met me here in the taste room.
Get right in front of the mic, Dom. It's not working.
Can't hear you.
Yeah, you got it. Okay. Oh, well.
So
And then Jeff, wine club manager, I see you're out in the forest there somewhere. Unmute yourself, Jeff.
There we go. How we doing?
that's better.
Nice to meet you, everybody. If you haven't met me before, I'm Jeff, wine club manager. We're gonna have some fun today. I'm looking forward to it, and thanks for being such great customers. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Who's next?
Clinton.
There he is.
Clint, unmute yourself.
Hey,
There we
hey
go.
there. So my name's Clint, and I am moving into the position as shipping manager and helping Jeff with wine club. So if you call the wine club line or the customer service line, I'm the one who has the fun perk of getting to talk to y'all, and so I really appreciate y'all. You've been incredible. There, you know, shipping is a massive beast, and it has gotten even bigger in the world that we live in right now. And so we appreciate your patience, and we appreciate your continued patronage of us. And it's been a lot of fun, and I really do enjoy talking to y'all. And it is my social outlet every day, and so I love it. Thanks so much.
Yeah, and Clint has that amazing ability that we're all in awe of, and that's the ability to talk to people on the phone. So if you get Clint on the phone, you'll do much better with him than any of us, I'll tell you, or at least me. But anyway, so Melissa, the new wine club manager in Sutter Creek, well, go ahead. I don't know if we're still on or not.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I'm here. Hi, everybody. Greetings from Sutter Creek. I'm sitting here in the tasting room looking out the window, and Sutter Creek is just itching and dying to open. There's a lot of people that are kind of strolling about, socially distant, of course, but you know, we're just really excited for things to kind of get rolling again up here in Sutter Creek.
Right.
Okay, Melissa, you're off now.
And then you want to introduce Brenda as well. She's listed as Jeff down there.
Oh,
Brenda.
Hello,
Brenda?
everybody. Can you hear me?
Brenda
hi,
manages our sugar mill property. Hi, Brenda.
Hi, everybody. Yes, I'm down at the old sugar mill. I've gotten in on Jeff's link. Mine was unsuccessful, but I'm here.
Oh, okay. I was wondering why there was two Jeffs.
Yeah, it just, I
I'm all over the place.
self-invited myself.
I'm all over the
but
place, guys.
I couldn't get on through my self-invite through the website. So here I am, but welcome everybody. Hi.
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 Okay, so the hide a bottle, whose idea was that and who wants to do it? Is it you, Jeff, or Brian?
No, it's Jeff's idea.
Okay, Jeff, why don't you run with it?
Let me unmute myself here. All right, everybody, keep a close eye. There is a bottle hiding in the background. You got to try and figure out what bottle that is. Send in your guess as to what that wine is, and you can win the bottle. So there is a wine on one of our screens. Do your best. We need the vintage, we need the varietal, we need what is that wine. So have fun, good luck, and submit your answers.
Well, don't forget they get to have the bottle if they guess it.
Yes, you do get a prize. I apologize.
You
Thanks
get
for reminding me, Brett.
that actual bottle.
That bottle. So zoom in if you need to, if you can. Figure out who's got it. Look close. I have a suspicion you're going to be able to figure that one out.
Okay. So,
So anybody that wants to.
oh, so we already have somebody thinking it's incinerator. No, it's not. And so Stephanie is very close. She thinks it's Catedrali right behind Scott,
It is right behind me.
but it's not Catedrali.
Good guess. Good guess.
And it's a 2005 vintage.
Monica.
Giving all the good.
69. Somebody's guessing 1869. No. Do you see the bottle? You can see the bottle. It's
I'm seeing
there.
Janet Cathedral.
there. We got it.
We got a
Cathedral
winner.
tab from Sean and Gabriella.
John and Gabriella.
So
I'll
congratulations, you guys.
Jana, I'll record these for us.
Oh,
Perfect.
it's being
Yeah.
recorded.
No,
I see. Yeah.
What?
Cheers, Sean. Cheers, Sean and Gabriella. Cheers. Good guess.
So 2005, when I made this wine was hard as nails, and typical old style Napa Valley Cabernet. It was so rough and so tough that I almost wanted to open all the wine and dump it all down the drain. But what I did was I just left it in the cellar because I knew it would come around in about 10 years. And that's what it's done. Now it's probably the best bottle of Cabernet that I've ever made because I've only started making Cabernet 20 years ago. But anyway, it's a wine we're very, very proud of.
Enjoy that cab.
Well, I just noticed that Steve Hickman also, he wasn't in the chat, he was in the Q&A. So we have actually two winners.
That's fine. I've got two bottles.
We have two buses. So, okay, well, good.
Here's another one here, you guys. This one I didn't wash off. Still has the cellar dust on it.
Well done. All right.
Great. Well, and so I guess you all kind of got the idea of the chat and the Q&A because we want to make this interactive. So, well, we'll come up with some more questions for you, prizes and quizzes, and so just either use the chat or the Q&A and win some good bottles of wine.
Keep your eyes peeled, guys. I'm gonna have a special spring deal for you. A phone number is going to come up at some point on the screen, and if you want to take advantage of that, get to know that deal, just call the number and Clint's going to get you in the know and get you that special.
Okay, so our next thing on the script is the Vermentino. And as you can see, Jana and I have been enjoying it as we've been setting this thing up. There isn't much left, but and it's tasting rather good. After making wine in Amador County now for 46 years, I never could find a white that I liked back in the 80s and 70s. And you know, back then Sauvignon Blanc was a fad, so you know everybody up here planted Sauvignon Blanc. And after I made 1 year, I couldn't get any Sauvignon Blanc up here, so I bought some from the Russian River. And after I made that Sauvignon Blanc from the Russian River, I never wanted to make an Amador Sauvignon Blanc again. So I go, you know, we're a warm region, we're a mountain region. We got to find a white that works. And Muscat works, but Muscat's just a specialty style wine. Semillon worked, but there isn't much market for it. But I think Vermentino is it. And I'm really excited about this wine and how I can tell the story of Amador and how I can get that European lightness and crispness in a nice white wine from this region. So I'm really excited about it. So Molly, you want to add anything about the winemaking on this?
Where'd they go?
No,
Molly's still here?
Oh,
There
there
she
they
is.
are. Technical difficulties.
We're working on our sound. I'm still
Okay.
trying to figure it out. But
Yeah.
I love the Vermentino. That's pretty much all you need to know.
It's
Anybody
quickly
have any
been,
questions about it?
Let's see. There's a, oh,
No questions? Okay, we're trying to look at the different, the Q&A and the chat. Anyway, let's move on to the next wine then. And that is the Reserve Barbera, 15 Reserve Barbera. I just opened. And pour a little. And of course, everybody on this in the company knows that it is my favorite red wine to make. And the reason it is because it makes the best wine in Amador County, the best red. And everybody likes success. You want some?
no, you're supposed to ask a question, right?
Let me look at the script here, you guys. Okay, in what country did Scott Harvey train to become a winemaker? Okay, that has nothing to do with Barbera or with Zen.
Or Vermentino.
Yeah, this is, here I was talking about Barbera and I'm supposed to be talking about Zen. Anyway, the country I was trained to make wine in, I'll give you a little hint, is also the country where I was born.
Oh, it's Lynn Anderson. Oh, we got a lot of people.
Stephanie
boom,
got
boom.
first. Stephanie.
Pardon? But we can tell who's first. Stephanie was first. So we have,
Stephanie Baumberger with a good German name there.
yeah. So she was the first one that came up with that. So who is announcing the prizes?
We're gonna do it at the end.
Doing it at the end?
Yeah, I'll just run through.
everybody
I'll
stick
run
around
through.
if you're watching, stick around after the end here and we're gonna run through the winners and we'll be in touch with you. So stick around, don't just drop out when we stop the communication here. We're gonna wrap up with you.
Okay, well, we should mention their names to everybody.
Definitely.
Yeah. Anyway, this is a 15 Zinfandel Reserve. This is from my grandfather's vineyard. That vineyard no longer exists, so we're not going to have much of this in the future. We'll still make the wine, but it'll come from other vineyards. But it's a typical.
So that's the wine, Scott. That's the wine we're going to give to the person that answered your question.
Oh, so now I opened the wrong wine. You didn't want the 15 reserves in, you wanted the 15 winemakers reserves in.
Yeah, and that's we found we're gonna give that bottle away to Stephanie. So each question
You can tell this is our first virtual release party. So
yeah. And
You know,
first
hey,
contest.
Scott's drinking wine, you know, and there's
Yeah. And
wine.
I actually got the script about 5 minutes before the meeting, so, so I'm kind of winging it here. But I'm having a good time, and whether it's the 15 reserves Zinfandel or winemakers reserves Zinfandel, they are very different in style. You can see from Jeff there that the winemakers reserve is a yellow label, and the reserve is the white label, Old Vine Reserve. The Old Vine Reserve is made in the old world style. It's made the way Zinfandel was made back in the 50s and 60s in California, in that what we call claret style. Zinfandel was called the claret of California red wine. The Winemaker's Reserve with the orange label is a little bit more in the New World style. So there's a little bit of residual sugar. Still has good acidity, but it's made to be more juicy and to go more for a younger demographic. So Molly and I sit in the lab and work with these blends and kind of say, how far do we want to go to New World, you know, and we can go halfway, you know, but so that's a wine that was made for that. It was originally made for the state of Pennsylvania and for the state only, and that's how we designated it as a different wine. But now we had a lot of demand for it, so we've got it open to the public.
Okay, Scott, the next wine we're giving away is a Magnum of 2016 Red Label Barbera. And the question, this is a tough one for people. The question, you go ahead and ask the question, Scott, because I know you're the only one that knows the answer.
Molly knows the answer.
Actually, it's an industry answer.
I want to, I think we need to either put it in the question, the question or the answers coming in on chat or Q&A. Let's just go with chat, because we've had more people doing the chat, because people are answering on the Q&A as well. And then we're missing your answers.
Yeah,
so,
answers have to come through chat.
Yeah.
Going forward.
Right.
Okay.
All right, Scott. So tell us about it.
It takes a lot of it to make good wine, and so.
We got Wanda. Got it. Wanda says beer.
Yeah.
True. Very true. Can you hear us better now?
Lynn, I liked your answer.
And
Okay.
Wanda knows, because Wanda and Chuck are winemakers as well. They have their own vineyard in the Shingle Springs area, French Camp, and French Town, I think it's called.
So Lynn says courage.
Yes.
Somebody says grapes, or Greg says grapes. That's pretty funny.
You're not wrong, Greg.
And time.
Those are all good answers, but beer is the answer. Yeah.
Yep.
And money, yes.
That's a real
Lots
good
of dollars.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then which wine are we?
Then we go to rosé from Molly and Clint.
Okay.
All right. I think we've solved at least a little bit of our sound issue. You guys can hear us now?
Much
Wonderfully.
better.
Hooray! All right. So that's good. Well, to all of you watching, like I mentioned before, if you have been watching any of these webinars previously, you know how much I love our rosé of Barbera. I love Barbera in general, but the rosé is one of my absolute favorite wines, especially right now. Even though it's cooled off a little bit, it's still such a perfect springtime wine. The big note that I always mention is that it's like if you're eating a strawberry and you get down to that white part where it gets a little bit tart, that's the part of the strawberry that I love.
Good descriptor.
Sorry,
That's phenomenal.
there's people chatting around me. Hold on.
So what I really love about this one is it's got enough body and enough play to it that you can pair it with food, you can do it on your own. Or I talked to Molly about this, and this is absolutely like my secret guilty pleasure. And so my guilty pleasure all summer long, if you come to parties at my house, I built a 2,000 square foot deck on the back of my house out there. I love having people over, and my guilty pleasure is sangria. So I actually made some sangria this afternoon, and what I do is I puree watermelon. I put a little vodka, a little triple sec, a little Everclear, because it's not a party without Everclear. And then the rosé of Barbera, and just pureed watermelon. And then it depends on your personality and what you like. I really like drier sangrias. I don't like them overly sweet. I like them body and boozy. That's what I want from a good sangria. And so some people will add simple syrup. I'm not that guy. But I do make some for my friends that like a sweeter sangria, and it does well with both of them. So we're planning on playing with some sangrias this year. Scott makes incredible wines that stand up on their own, and they're also fun to do a little wine cocktails with.
Great.
Yeah. Anybody else have anything to share about the sangria, or not the sangria? It's been a real long day about the rosé. This is a photo that I think Brian's going to talk a little bit about this pairing with one of our previous vintages. We did a rosé of Grenache in the same style. So you'll notice as you saw everybody kind of holding up their bottles, it's a really peachy pink color. It's not a super dark magenta. We make this wine as if it was a white wine, and so we allow for very little skin contact, and that helps to keep that color really light. It also helps to keep the tannins a little bit more under control, and to help preserve some of that brightness in the taste of the wine. But stylistically very similar to this rosé of Grenache. So Brian, you want to talk a little bit about that pairing that you're doing?
Yeah, so I think what everybody experiences with any kind of blush wine is an initial reaction of it being sweet and off dry. And the fact is, was when I joined Scott and Jana and Molly and the team, one of the first pairings I was asked to do was for wildflowers and wine, which was the Rose of Grenache. And this particular pairing still holds true with the Rosé of the Barbera, because stylistically, like Molly said, they're very much in the same world in terms of structure and everything about the bright freshness of the wine. So there's a tomato risotto with a little wildflower salad on top, and we served it during that event, and it was super well received. Everybody can look up any kind of a risotto recipe, and all I did was infuse some fresh heirloom fresh tomatoes into the risotto before I put the cheese in to kind of get it to do a typical risotto. So, and we have this recipe on site on our website as well.
It looks good. Yeah. So, did we have an answer to the question?
There was no question.
Oh. Okay.
No, but
So
I'm
now
going to pose the question now.
Yeah. Go ahead,
Oh,
Molly.
it's backwards.
Yeah, Jeff, your sign is backwards.
Oh.
There we go. So the question is, how many standard bottles of wine are there in a Nebuchadnezzar bottle? Large format wines is one of my favorite kind of trivia things. So in a Nebuchadnezzar, how many bottles of wine? Let's see.
I have no idea.
Everybody's on their phones trying to look it up.
I had to double check. So it's going to be a race to see who's the first one in the chat to come up with it. I'm going to keep looking for names to see. It is more than all of you have guessed so far.
It's and it's very, very close to what's in a whole case of wine.
Oh,
Yes.
I see Greg. I think Greg was the first one that came up with it.
It's not 12 bottles though.
Oh.
Yeah,
More
Nebuchadnezzar's
than that?
not 12. No, that's Salmanzar is 12.
Oh.
Yep, I see it. Wait, hold on. It looks like Philip and Rochelle. It's the first
We have
one
a
I
winner.
see. 20 bottles of wine.
Wow.
in a Nebuchadnezzar.
Or as I like to
2,700.
call it.
Exactly. What are you guys doing tomorrow?
Yeah,
I would have gotten that one wrong.
Me too.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I thought it was a salamander. Yeah.
yeah, that's
Who's
and
our
it
winner
gets
officially?
bigger from there. The largest that I've seen in any of my research is one of the names for it is Midas. The other one I'd have to pronounce, and you don't want to hear me try to pronounce things with too many consonants in them. But the Midas is 40 standard bottles, so twice the size of a Nebuchadnezzar.
As a matter of fact, Behringer has a bottle on display in their place, and it stands about 4 feet tall.
Of the Midas.
Yeah, it could be a Tutankhamun, and also a lot of those large formats pertain to champagne.
Yeah.
They're
I
very
used to do
specific.
I used to do a special order on that 40 bottle size for a gentleman every year for New Year's on Veuve Clicquot. It was bizarre. It came in a wooden crate every year, and it was an event. He had a handmade tilt for it, so he can pour
Right.
it and they're bizarre. It's just
Right.
out of control.
And
All right, so-
they had a wire hooded cork in that.
It was wire. It was the whole. It looked like
Huh.
a 4.5 foot tall bottle of Veuve Clicquot. It was bizarre. One off. They would make it for this guy every year. He spent way too much money on it, and it was the showpiece of his New Year party every year.
How big was the cork?
Oh god, I never took the foil off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, next wine is our Reserve Barbera, which we happen to have open. And
From our cellar pass TV last night tasting.
yeah,
Call now. There's Jeff.
Just a reminder.
Just a reminder, yes.
and Dom, do you want to discuss it?
Yeah, I just poured myself some here. This is the newest release of our Reserve Barbera. We just libraried the 16 Reserve. So therefore the 17 came out. Jeff's kind of showing it off there. It's got a lot of that young fruit on the nose, a lot of big, bold fruit. The acidity, once you first open it, is hidden a little bit, but it comes through. I had it the other night with some lasagna. I had it with some salmon the other night. It still did pretty well.
Scott, what is it about that texture that I'm getting on this wine? There's a textural component to this Reserve Barbera every vintage that's got this really nice, soft, almost a waxy component to it.
A lot of it is usually Toy or Mamby, and both
Okay.
those vineyards have that. And they don't taste well out of the fermenter, but they really, really age into this character. It's almost raspy when the wine's young. And when I sent you the tasting notes, I cut off the first couple of tasting notes, the first couple of times, because they said raspy on them. But that was actually a Tempranillo I sent you. But the Tempranillo does the same thing. And I think it develops a tannin structure in the wine that becomes softer and gives you a full mouth feeling. And it just comes around like that. Really,
Nice.
really. But it starts out rough, almost stimmy tasting.
Okay. Bizarre.
Absolutely.
Looks like Jacob and Linda are also having it this evening with salmon.
Nice.
Yeah.
So the great thing about Barbera is it goes with just about everything.
And I see my friend Leslie is on, Leslie England. I went to high school with her.
Hi, Leslie.
Hi, Leslie.
Yeah, and Leslie Leslie and Roger just built a house in Nevada, not too far from Tonopah. Actually, Leslie grew up in Yerington, which is right next to Tonopah. So,
All right.
Leslie, I hope your house is still standing.
After that earthquake.
Yeah.
Yeah. What, 6.6? Still standing, she says. So, oh, good.
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 All right, I'm gonna jump in with a little pairing. So one of the things that I thought about, because I'm only going to do a couple pairings there, because everybody's listened to us for the month now. But obviously, when it comes to the Barbera, everybody's heard me talk over and over about how excited I was that I was able to debunk the whole myth about white wine with fish. And so I served this halibut dish, and it was one of the most successful pairings I did last summer. But since everybody's heard that, and the next obvious choice was to go to one of my braised dishes. But since meat's a little scarce these days, I chose to show this dish. And this is a dish that we did as well as one of the 3 and 3s, and it's braised portobello mushrooms, which we marinated in a nice oil and vinegar with a lot of garlic and Italian herbs. And we grilled them over the oak staves that Scott provides me from the unused throwaway type barrels. But what really struck the pairing for me was the pomegranate jus that went into it with the reduction. And it also addresses the needs of our, plant-based people out there in the world that I'm starting to become a big fan of as well. So, if you love your mushrooms and you're not one of those that's allergic to mushrooms, great dish sitting on a round of polenta, because we talked about that earlier, with a little microgreens, some pomegranate. So there's a great pairing, which will go on the website next week.
Nice. All right.
Great.
With this Barbera in particular, it's Barbera can lend itself to be a little bit leaner and a little bit brighter in general. This one is incredibly juicy. It's really kind of mouth-filling, and it's got a really beautiful even weight all the way across your palate that it just sits so nicely in your mouth. It's a really fun wine to drink because of the way it plays, like you guys were mentioning earlier, it plays with the texture, but also that flavor in your mouth is it's really fun.
And something that I have at my home is I built a wood fire pizza oven. And my grandmother's gluten-free, and so a fabulous recipe is to use a portobello mushroom instead of a pizza crust to replace that, and then just go normal direction. And so then pizza, Italian seasonings and flavor, and that portobello, it just takes it to that next level. And so a lot of times we end up just doing entirely gluten-free personal pan pizzas on portobello mushrooms for friends and family when they come over, because it just plays and it's a lot of fun.
So do you slice them, the portobello, or just turn it upside down?
What I do is I turn it upside down, and then I basically clean it, a little bit, so that you've got portobello in there, and so then it gets a little crispy on the bottom, and then the natural shape of a portobello, you can load that puppy up with toppings, sauce, and cheese, which is the way that I prefer all of my pizza. More sauce, more toppings, more cheese, and the idea of crust.
We're going to try that. We have a little pizza oven, so that'd be great.
And what Clint said is one of the culinary secrets of portobellos. It's very important, once you snap the stem off, to take a spoon and scrape the black gills from underneath the portobello out, because all they do is add bitterness. So if you scrape them out, you end up with this perfect platform. And he's right. You could load it up, bake it. Doesn't have to be in a pizza oven. Load it up with goodies and let it fly. All right, next question.
Well, we have somebody, the Hansons are having the 2012 Mountain Selection Barbera tonight with their some garlic rosemary chicken. So we don't have any of that.
I'll be there in like 20 minutes when this is over. I'll be there. That sounds delicious.
I'm wondering how the 2012 is even, we don't save any of the red labels very often. So to try the 2012 would be interesting. I'm sure it's delicious.
Let us know how that goes. We'd love to hear.
Please.
Yeah.
All right.
Do your trivia question?
Trivia. I was going to add to that. I just had a 13 I have a few bottles of, and still drinking pretty well. So.
You have some there, Melissa?
On one bottle of the 2012 Mountain Selection. Are we talking about?
Syrah.
Oh, Barbera. This is Syrah, 2012, one bottle.
Still, we still have a 2012 around.
2012.
So the next question has multiple answers, and so I have just to give you a clue, I have 4 bottles of Red Label Zinfandel 14 to give away that I found in the office. So to give you a clue, there's 4 answers to the next question.
The next question is, when you're drinking a Jana wine, what county is it coming from?
Oh,
Oh,
And we've kind of made a liar out of it lately too, so.
so
Y'all with
Stephanie,
the
I think, got it. Yeah, got the first one.
Who did?
Definitely Napa.
I think
There has been
Stephanie
food.
from Napa.
And I see
Lake
Jacob
Wait,
Lewis.
Was first one to answer Amador, which was
Wanda.
that's
And
one.
Steve Hickman got Mendocino.
Ah,
Nicely
Yeah.
done.
And
So Lake
Jacob
County,
Lewis got-
Mendocino, Napa Valley,
Monterey,
Amador
Bob.
have all had Jana labels.
Wait, Rick.
Also, through the years,
no Monterey.
Leelanau
Okay.
Peninsula in Michigan, and Lake Seneca and the Finger Lakes of New York are also have the Jana name on them.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Looks like Wanda was the first one to answer with Amador.
Yep.
I think she got lucky. I think she just got lucky. Because as I asked her what bottle that was, I'd be shocked if she knew it was the Barbera
Give it
Rosé.
to her. Give it to
Right,
her.
Wanda? You just got lucky.
Yeah, the rosé. Okay.
Is that
So-
all 4? So wait, I've got Steph, Steve, Wanda, and did somebody guess Mendocino? Who was it?
Yes.
Steve Hickman. I think Steve.
Steve. So Jacob Lewis got Lake County first.
Okay, Jacob.
Yep. And Steve Hickman got Mendocino.
And then Wanda and Stephanie got Napa and Amador. Okay.
Scott, did you see this winemaking question from John and Leilani?
Yeah, the percentage is per 100, and grams per liter is per 1,000. So if you have 9 grams per liter of acidity in your wine, you have 0.9% acidity. Okay, so that's the difference between grams per liter and grams per 100 milliliters, which is percentage. So that's the difference. And a lot of times when we do lab work, or I get lab results back from commercial labs, you have to be very careful to look at that, because sometimes you can go, oh my gosh, you know, especially when you're talking about vinegar levels. It can really scare the heck out of Molly and I, or go, whoop, it hardly has any at all, you know. So
Well, and that's just indicative of especially on the production side as a whole, where let alone across the country, but across the world, we can't agree on units of anything. So you're measuring things in one unit and then having to convert. We may be measuring in milligrams per liter and then having to convert that into pounds per gallon. And so half of our lab time is figuring out what unit we're even looking at.
And we'll get a fining agent with recommendations on it. A fining agent is something you add to the wine to make it finer. So something like bentonite or which would stabilize the wine. And they'll say 3 liters per 1,000 gallons. So they're using liters on one side and they're using gallons on the other, you know. And
just to make it more confusing.
And we do all our lab work. If you join in on the blending seminar, you'll see on butcher paper. I just lay down fresh butcher paper, and you'll, after a while, you'll see lots of stains on the butcher paper. But you'll also see a lot of calculations where we're converting back and forth to figure out what we're doing percentage-wise and so forth. We just write it right on the butcher paper. Good job, Jeff. Okay, so next wine.
This is Melissa and Brenda's. We're gonna talk about the Winemakers Reserve. You talked a little bit about it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll go first, Brenda, if that's okay with you. This wine is a very special wine to me. Back in February, just happened to be doing some office work at the winery, and they had the big bottling trucks in the parking lot, which is super fun to like pop your head in and just take a peek, but it's so hectic and so crazy going on in there. And Scott said to me, they're a little short-handed for a little while up until lunch, Melissa. How do you feel about hopping up on the line? And I think it was one of the most exciting mornings that I've had in years, being on the bottling line and this bottling truck. And this is what we were bottling that day. It was the 2018 Winemakers Reserve Zinfandel, which I just absolutely love. To me, it's just what I want in a Zinfandel. To me, it's exactly what brings me or brought me first to Amador County looking for a really great Zinfandel. So though it may be Scott and Molly's baby, I feel like I'm its favorite aunt. So
That's great.
That's really awesome, Melissa. You're right. It's everybody's favorite. I often describe it in my tasting room as the middle wine, or the middle child between our Mountain Select and our Reserve. It's like the middle child, and it brings both aspects and tastings from both aspects. It pulls it together, and it's a great sunset wine. It doesn't necessarily need to be paired with food, but it definitely is a great table wine for almost anything. You can pair it. I'm sure, Brian, you could add some information to that as far as pairing goes. But yeah, it's the middle child Zin, and it's a wonderful go-to. If people come in and they're unable to taste it, especially in these times, I do recommend it. If they're not, if they're kind of in the middle of the road, they love it. They're familiar with our product. They love the 1869, which is top shelf. Or if they're going with the Mountain Select, I always recommend them to have the middle child, just so it's at the table. Everybody can set a place setting to that.
Wonderful.
Right.
And so Clint, this is for Clint. I don't know if you saw that Anderson's, what they're having tonight with the Bolognese and the wild boar.
I did see that, and now I want to do Bolognese with buffalo. And so.
Oh, wow! I was thinking of your buffalo. Yeah, by mistake.
No, I was like, that could work.
Yeah. Since
What's
you're
the date,
getting
Clint?
all
What's the
that
date?
buffalo, right? You said all this buffalo's meat is coming in?
Yes, as soon as my father-in-law shows up, I have 1,000 pounds of various buffalo cuts, ground meat. And that's not even on 1,000 pounds on the hoof. That is 1,000 actual processed pounds of buffalo meat. So if y'all come up and all of a sudden we're serving buffalo, you'll understand why. But I don't know. Deep freezes are great, but that's 16 deep freezes worth.
Have you ever done a buffalo pizza?
Well, there are buffalo pizzas out there, but this is slightly different.
I understand.
But this Zin is probably my favorite red right now. It's a middle ground. My husband and I, Michael, he loves Zins. Sometimes they come off a little spicy for me. Maybe it's just because I'm the youngest one in the room, and I'm going to throw that out there unabashedly.
Nice.
This speaks to me. This is a Zinfandel that just absolutely speaks to me. Whenever I have friends, I have a lot of friends in Sacramento who love coming out and adventure in the mountains and in the foothills. And so this one, if I'm never quite sure what to serve them, this is a very safe, very easy, fabulous wine just to put in their glass. And so I as soon as I can have friends over, then this is what is going to be the one to go to.
agreed. I think it's a Zinfandel lover's Zinfandel for sure.
Absolutely. It's very approachable and works almost anything.
Great. Okay, so let's move on to.
Well, we have a new question.
Oh, we
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, let me dive in there. So this is an interesting one because we're going to give away Jeff, we've been cleaning house with all this time on our hands, keeping our employees busy. Let's go and clean house and see what we find. And Jeff found one single bottle of the most popular wine, which was the Three Stags. So this was a 2013 Three Stags. And so this is kind of a question for Scott. The Three Stags compared to the Winemaker's Reserve, are they in the same breath? Is that kind of what we're saying?
They are the same wine.
Yeah. So the question is for Melissa or Brenda asked, but the winner will get a 2013 Three Stags, last bottle on the planet Earth we know of. So you guys asked the
Lucky.
question. Go for it.
And where did the Zinfandel
All right,
grape originate?
Where did Zinfandel grape originate?
It does not, Zinfandel is not the name that it had, where it came from.
Ooh, are we gonna take
Lots of
the spelling?
Is that Wanda? Is that Wanda again?
I don't know, that's coming in fast.
The first
But
correct spelling
Croatia,
was
Wanda.
the
Last
Dalmatian
one.
coast of Croatia is the correct answer. The main variety of that area today is called Plavek Mali or Mali Plavek. And Mali Plavek is a descendant of Zinfandel.
all right.
Zinfandel was, because of chromosome dating, they were able to finally find the original vines or vineyards that it came from. And it's a very old, small vineyard left in Croatia, or it's on an island actually off of Croatia. And from there, it went to southern Italy, where it was named Primitivo, and it came to California, where it was named Zinfandel. It came to California through a nursery in New York, and there was named Zinfandel, and it was sent to California as a table grape in the 1840s, along with a second variety called Black St. Peter's. And in Vineyard 1869, both Black St. Peter's and Zinfandel are growing to this day from those original plantings that were brought over in that period.
So it
Does
looks
Black
to
Saint-
me like Wanda did. Wanda was officially the first one. She just left the A off.
Yes.
That's good enough. And I'm
Is-
not partial because they're my dearest friends. That's legit.
Quick question, Scott. Does the Black St. Peter, does that have another name to it, or is it just known as that?
It's known as that.
Okay.
Yeah, and so obviously both those names were given to the varieties when they came over. They weren't the Croatian name or
Sure.
the Slavic names, but I'd have to go look it up. I have it
Yeah.
written on a piece of paper on my desk what the Croatian name is for the variety. It's very hard to pronounce.
Sure. Yeah,
But
just a personal interest.
yeah, they think that the tag came off of the cuttings and somebody just put Zinfandel on there. There is a variety from Austria called Zierfandel, and they may have thought it was that. Obviously, once you stick it in the ground and grow it, you realize it's not Zierfandel, because Zierfandel from Austria is a white grape variety.
Got it. All right. All right. So last up, guys, is the 2017 Tempranillo. I wanted to talk about it because it was so sought after, so highly sought after with the club members this quarter. The Tempranillo is one of those one of our few estate wines. We really don't have any 2017 left at this point, except for in the Magnums. So if anybody was a big fan of that wine, take advantage of what we do have left on those Magnums. Those got 19 months in French oak, and they are running at 180 a Magnum with the 25% off with for the month right now. They're at 135 a Magnum. Grab them while they last. The next in line is going to be the 2018. We've got about 100 cases in production, and those are waiting to be scheduled to bottle. So we've got some time before we're going to see the next Tempranillo. And again, one of the few estate produced wines we've got, and very, very limited and sought after. So.
Yeah, and you were looking at the Tempranillo vines just last week.
Yeah, well, with this rain, last year we got a lot of cold weather during flower, and so our crop sizes on the Tempranillo were just minuscule. There's just very little of it. So I think Molly and I made 2 barrels, right? Is all we
Wow.
made of the 2019 vintage.
The 19 vintage, yeah, is only 2 barrels.
Yeah.
So you're definitely, if you like that wine, if you're a fan of that, I know a lot of people in the club groups are. It has been a huge draw lately, and it will disappear. There are only 100 cases being produced of the 2018, so keep your eyes peeled for that wine.
Yeah, so it's going to be in short supply, but it's those light years that produce the most exceptional of the wines, because you get all that energy going into a very small crop. So there's a lot of flavor, a lot of character, a lot of varietal character. And again, it's a variety that I really think has a future in Amador County. When you think of where Tempranillo comes from the Spain, either Rioja or Ribera del Duero, it's again high elevation, drier climate type of grape growing. So I really think that it has a future.
And the
It's gotta do-
2018 isn't as lean of a year. We have a few more than 2 barrels, but not a whole lot. But 18 was a great year as well. It was a little bit different growing season than 19, but it still produced some pretty phenomenal wines.
Yeah, it should be though producing almost 200 cases, and it's
Okay.
It only produced only 100 cases in 18, and in 19 only 50 cases worth.
Wow.
Barrel's about 25 cases of wine. So
I'm,
All
I'm
right.
curious about this vine in Slovenia that Morgan is telling us about. That it's claimed to be 400 years old. Zinfandel. Have you heard anything about that ever?
no, but I've had the wine from Gewürztraminer in Germany that were 350 years old, and then obviously Vineyard 1869 is now about 155 years old or something like that. And as long as a vine is not grafted and it's on its own root, so there's no graft between the plant and the root system, then the vine can live for a long, long time. They say up to about 500 years. If there's a graft, which most vines are grafted, because the European Vitis vinifera can't survive with the American lice called phylloxera. It kills them. But phylloxera doesn't kill Native American varieties like Concord and so forth. And so what's happened is phylloxera was introduced to Europe from the east coast of America, and in the 1840s and so forth, it just wiped Europe out. And then from Europe, it came to the west coast of the US and wiped California out in the 1880s. And so most people went to planting the Native American grape varieties that can live with the phylloxera, and then grafted the European Cabernet, Zinfandel, or whatever else on top of it. So as long as the vine is in an area where the phylloxera can't kill it, and that would be like Vineyard 1869, because it's in a very decomposed granite soil, very sandy, and the phylloxera travels through cracks in the soil from one root system to another, the plants around it. And as long as there's no cracks in the soil, then the phylloxera won't survive. That's why you find so many old vine vineyards down in Oakley and in the Delta area because of the sandy soils.
Great. So we have a
right.
question. Jeff?
Yeah, let's go for it. So the question here, what year was Scott Harvey wine born? What was the first year of Scott Harvey wine?
Oh, I thought you were wondering when Scott was born.
Actually, we're going to ask that, but then he signs a paycheck, so we decided to.
Old enough to be considered at high risk in this pandemic.
Somebody's
94,
saying 1869.
2002. Are you guys watching these? 94,
Yeah, we're getting some
2002.
really good.
See,
All right.
Leslie knows what the year I was born in because she was born the same year. Probably shouldn't say that.
By the way, the wine is a 2016 white label J&S Reserve Syrah that has been sitting on top of my desk, and it's been beautifully stored here in the cellar, so it should be in great shape. We have a winner yet?
One of the few bottles left.
So
We have-
when Scott Harvey Wines was born is a trick question. So there's actually two answers to that.
I only have one bottle. So it has to be the first answer.
Well, it looks like Monica.
Well,
Right?
both those answers are true. 2002 and 2004.
Who was first?
Well, what happened was I started Scott Harvey brand inside of Folie à Deux Winery in 2002. And with the idea that we were selling Folie à Deux, and when it sold, I could take the brand with me. So Folie à Deux sold Scott Harvey wines and starting in 2002. And then when we sold the winery in 2004, then Janet and I started this company, and we just kept going with that inventory. And even better yet, the Trinqueros, who we sold the winery to, they're the ones that bought Ménage à Trois and Folie à Deux. I've known them. It's the second winery I've worked at that they bought over the years and get along with them. And they allowed me to buy back any of the inventory that I wanted to keep our brand going. And so we bought back all the Vineyard 1869 and so forth. And we're able to have inventory and have the company off and running right from the beginning, which was a real plus, a real help.
What date does the federal bond have? That's the date I'll go with.
The bond of the Scott Harvey brand is 2004. It's actually 2005.
Well, we started our company in 2004. So
Yeah.
So Monica it is. Monica, you get a 2016 Reserve Syrah.
Cheers, Monica.
very good.
All right, guys, I've got one more thing to talk to everybody about. I wanted to touch base and make sure everybody knows that we're going to do some, we're going to have some big changes coming to our club here shortly. So based on everybody's recommendations and suggestions over the last couple of years, we've run a couple of big surveys over the last 6-8 months or so. And based on everybody's suggestions, we've retooled the club to better serve you guys. So keep an eye for my emails coming out. But that said, I've got a little bit of info for you. I'm going to hold it up, and we can go over it here together. We're going to have the Gold Dust Club. Is there going to be our new 2-bottle club? If you can read that, if you can't, let me know. What I'll do, I'm going to go through it. I think it's going to be too difficult to read.
It's too small.
The Gold Dust Club, guys, is going to be the new 2-bottle club. It's going to be 6 times a year, every other month, for pickup members only. And this is going to make it so that anybody who is local or within driving distance is going to have access to the most frequent releases. You're going to have every actual release we see throughout the year if you're a part of that Gold Dust Club. The next in line is going to be our new Griffin Club. That's going to be our new 4-bottle club. So anybody that's in the existing 4-bottle club, guys, you're going to have this. It's going to be February, May, September, November, as usual. But what we're going to do now with all of these club groups is you're going to have the option to go ahead and select your wines. So you get to jump on our website, log in with your member information, and it's going to give you all of the new releases. You can pick the wines there each quarter for what you'd like to receive. So you get the power. It's now in your hands. Next in line is going to be the new 6-bottle club, and that's going to be the new Wunderbar Club. Wunderbar, we're going to be specialized for our shipping members. So this is when we really kind of gear things towards all of our shipping people. It's going to be twice a year, 6 bottles each shipment. You get a case a year commitment, and you're going to get 20% off all your wines as usual, but you're going to get a $10 flat rate shipping on all of your club releases. That said, if you're really committed and you're a big fan of our wines, the Prima level club, the new 12 bottle club, that is going to be a $5 flat rate shipping moving forward. That is going to be twice a year, February and September. That way we can get the most optimal times to get wines to you. And it's going to be a whole lot more fun for you guys. So everybody's going to have choice. You're going to be able to pick what you want every quarter if you'd like. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But that said, giving you guys the power, making it a little more fun and interactive for you guys. And I've got more details on those. If you'd like to talk to me, just email me at wineclub@scottharveywines.com.
And then we always have the phone number. You can call 209-268-6211. That's going to be on all the clubs, and I'll be on the phone there. And if you have questions, you're struggling with the website, anything like that, even though a lot of people have told me that our website in the last few months has gotten so much more user-friendly. So if you've struggled in the past, go back and check it out again. Melissa, I know, has done a lot of work to streamline and clean it up. Chef Brian has done a lot. And so a lot of folks have done a lot of work to make it more user-friendly just for you. So if you ever run into anything, give that phone number a call. It's everywhere. Either Jeff or I have that phone on us pretty much constantly. And so it's really great. Sometimes I don't have my coffee before I answer the phone. So good luck to you.
Bear with him.
Yeah. Coffee first. No. So
we're here for you.
Give that phone number a call. We'll be glad to help you get into it, set up your online account, walk you through that first time. And then after that, it'll be so much easier. And you'll know for a fact that you're getting your absolute favorite of the incredible wines that Scott makes.
Awesome.
Hey.
Cheers, Clint. Good job. Cheers, everybody. It's
Well,
been a
cheers.
fun quarter.
Thank you so much
It's been a fun release here. And
enjoying or attending this and partying with all of us. We've enjoyed partying with all of you.
Let me do a quick review of the winners so you know that you won.
Yes.
So the first one is the 2005 cab that must be coming from Scott's personal cellar. By the way, Scott, you gave me a 2008 1869 for my birthday. It was fabulous, but my wife Nancy said, couldn't he have at least wiped the dust off it before he gave you? I said, no, honey, that's the point. So when you get this 2005 cab, there could be some dust on it. It's supposed to be like that. So we got Stephanie and Sean and Gabrielle each get a bottle of that. The second one was what does Scott drink when he's making wine, which was beer. So that is Wander Beaudry and Chuck for the 1.5 Magnum of Red Label Barbera. Well done there. Number 3 was the 2015 JS Reserve Zin, and that question was the Nebuchadnezzar question. That was Philip and Rochelle. Number 4 was the trick question. What are the AVA/areas which the Jana wines are produced? We've got Stephanie again. We've got Steve Wickman, Jacob Lewis, and Philip Schmidt, all with correct answers. The number 5 question was the origins of Zin. That gets a 2013 single, last bottle left on the planet Earth. That is, again, Wanda and Chuck. Well done there. And then the last one is the 2016 JS Reserve Syrah. That is going to Monica. What was Monica's last name? You remember? Monica
Jackson.
Is that our Monica?
No.
Monica Russo.
Okay, that's my side. These wines will be here at the winery. Let me know when you're coming to get them. Can I touch base quickly to everybody? There may be some confusion. I'll have Scott weigh in on this, but there's been some media in the news that's been falsely reporting some stuff. And so I just want to be very clear about, we are excited to have you come and pick up your wines. We're by appointment only. We've provided phone numbers and people there to schedule your visits. Unfortunately, when you come visit, we're still under strict rules under the state of California. You're not able to stay on the property and enjoy yourself and drink wine, but that day is coming real soon, we hope. And we look forward to that. I think our world is hoping for a June 1st, but we won't know for sure for a while. But until then, thank you for your support, and please come pick up your wines, and we'll have a schedule for you at either the Sugar Mill on Saturdays only, Thursday through Sunday, it's Sutter Creek, and then, of course, 7 days a week here in the Valley. So cheers to all of you. Thank you for joining us. Scott, anything you want to add?
Yeah, the order that opened Amador County opened up restaurants, but it did not open up winery tasting rooms. And if you have a restaurant in a tasting room, then you can kind of sneak by on it. But for all in all, it hasn't opened us up yet. So that's why we're appointment only for pickup, curbside pickup. But we had a big meeting today, and we're getting all of our stuff in line so that when it does open up, we can do it in a safe manner and have all the shields up, and we're having those made right now, and the hand washing stations, and we're putting in touchless faucets in the bathrooms, and because I think this is going to be with us for a little while, and so we want to keep you safe. We want to be able to get you wasted at the same time, tasting some wine, and we want to keep everybody at the winery safe. So, so we're getting all that in line. So when we do open up, we can let you know, and then you can schedule appointments for tastings.
Yeah, I want to make a quick announcement as well. I just confirmed a deal today, and so when you come to visit, we've got all new beautiful redwood tables going out into our seated area. And so we'll be an appointment seated tasting, which will be really fun for the consumer. And I'd like to make sure that all the opening slots for tasting, I'd like to reserve them for you, our wine club members. So we'll be sending out early notification for you to book a tasting with us. And so we want to see you folks first.
Before everybody leaves, I just wanted to mention the easiest way for us to get wine to you right now is for you to call and schedule a pickup. If you call here at the Plymouth location, that number is 209-245-3670. And that is the easiest way for us to be able to schedule you to get your pickups on the calendar. So we want to see you guys out here. We love having you come by and say hi and pick up your wines, but just give us a heads up that you're going to be coming in so that we've got your wines all ready for you.
I want to touch base with everybody also, just making sure everybody knows, if you're not familiar where OSM or the old sugar mill is located, if you're in the Bay Area, Central Valley, Sacramento, it is in Clarksburg. So if you're in the Bay Area, it's an hour closer to you to pick up your wines. So make sure that you are taking advantage of what we've got to offer. And we hope you guys all the best during these difficult times.
Great. Thanks.
All right,
guys.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Bye.
Na zdrowie.